Williams from Vanderbilt University, and on behalf of Vanderbilt University, welcome to Inside Out of the Lunchbox.
Thank you. Yes, we've started our season. Woohoo! We're so happy to have you here today to celebrate the Nashville Jazz Workshop and their Cabaret series. And we're changing some things up this year. So our next Lunchbox is going to be November 1st at the Nashville Opera's Noah Lift Center. And so when you get your invitation for that, just make special note that that's going to be there. And that's what we have coming up. But I think for now, we're going to concentrate, and you're going to have a great time at the Cabaret today. And so I'd like to invite our panelists and our performers to come out. And our very own TPAC Education's Laddie Brown is the moderator today. And just so you know, the donations, all of the proceeds for today's Lunchbox will go to the Nashville Jazz Workshop. So thank you so much for coming, and enjoy.
And welcome to the Cabaret.
What good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to our cabaret. Put down the sandwich, that book and the broom. Time for a holiday. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Come taste the wine. Come hear the band. Come blow your horn. Start celebrating. Right this way, your table's waiting. Start by admitting from cradle to tomb, it isn't that long a stay. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Only a cabaret, old chum. Come to our Welcome from the étranger, stranger. Glücklich zu sehen, je suis enchanté. Happy to see you, bleibe stay und sagen willkommen, bienvenue, welcome. Im Cabaret, au Cabaret, to Cabaret. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to TPAC's very own Cabaret Cafe. See what I did there? Yeah, right. That's what Cabaret is. You're going to hear a lot of different kinds of music today from some fantastic performers that I get to call friends. So we're so glad you're here. Sit back, relax. Bleibe stay und sagen willkommen, bienvenue, welcome im Cabaret. Au Cabaret, to Cabaret. Stay there, yeah. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Laurie Meacham on this glorious instrument right here. Thank you so much. You know, the greatest thing about Cabaret is that you can sing anything. That's the truth. That is, honest to God, the truth. You can sing anything. Now, we're not going to do that today. We don't have time. However, that song, or those two songs that I just sang, is from a show called, guess what? Oh, they're smart for having lunches in their laps. Yes, excellent. That's exactly what it's from. It's from Cabaret. But in the middle of that song is a thing called Willkommen. So two characters actually sing that song. The lead, Sally Bowles, sings Cabaret, the big song, and then the MC sings Willkommen, who is a man. See, the thing about Cabaret is you can sing the men's songs too. Yes! And get away with it. Yes! That's what's fun. That's what you're going to hear today, a lot of different kinds of things. But sometimes you get the rare opportunity to be on this stage, which is one of my favorite stages in this city, if not the world. Really and truly, I hope you guys can appreciate that here in Nashville, Tennessee, at TPAC, we have some of the finest facilities in the world. And this is one of them. Thank you. I had the distinct privilege many years ago, I'm not going to tell you how many, but many years ago, of on this very stage doing a show called Evita. Thank you. With Tennessee Repertory Theater many years ago. But there are some things that stay with you forever. And so when you do a cabaret show, sometimes you pull songs from shows. And you don't really change them up because they're pretty perfect the way that they are. So right now, I would like to take us back in time for just a moment to Argentina, to the mind of Eva Perón, and to what she is feeling right now. It won't be easy. You'll think it's strange when I try to explain how I feel, that I still need your love after all that I've done. You won't believe me. All you will see is a girl you once knew, although she's dressed up to the nines, at 6s and 7s with you. I had to let it happen. I had to change. Couldn't stay all my life down at heel, looking out of the window, staying out of the sun. So I chose freedom, running around, trying everything new, but nothing impressed me at all. I never expected it to. Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never left you. All through my wild days, my mad existence, I kept my promise. Don't keep your distance. And as for fortune, as for fame, I never invited them in, though it seemed to the world they are all I desired. They are illusions, they're not the solutions they promised to be. The answer was here all the time. I love you and hope you love me. Don't cry for me, Argentina. my mad existence. I kept my promise. Don't keep your distance. Have I said too much? There's nothing more I can think of to say to you. But all you have to do is look at me to know that every word is true. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, how's that for a welcome? Are we on? I think we're not. I think you were at the end. Now? Yes. Oh, yeah, there I am. Thank you, Noah. And thank you to our tech staff. You guys give them a half clap.
Before we get started, anyone need any extra mustard?
Oh my gosh, so we're going to have a good time today. You make sure that they can see you. So that's a welcome to Nashville Jazz Workshop and TPAC presenting a cabaret. Nashville Jazz Workshop is our guest today, and we're so excited to do some exploration of cabaret. Let me introduce that first glorious singer, Miss Ginger Newman. And also on stage with me, I have Carolyn German and Robert Wharton. And Ginger introduced the marvelous Lori Meacham on piano, and she is one of the founders of the Nashville Jazz Workshop. So, I think I'm going to do this. How about that? We wanted to give you some cafe tables, give the ambiance. We thought about candles and wine, but maybe not today in the morning. I know, it wouldn't have been fair to y'all, would it? All right, well, let's start talking. What? Nothing. Let's talk about cabaret a little bit. And first, maybe we could do a definition, because I think that sometimes people are confused actually what it is. And you started to tell us, Ginger, but.
Well, like I said to you, the thing that is most glorious about cabaret, in my humble definition, is that it's genre busting. It doesn't have to be locked into one specific kind of music. I think the thing that I love about it the most is it allows us as artists to be storytellers primo. For that to be what it is that we're celebrating is that every bit of music tells a story. Every bit of music. Whether it's Lori just gloriously, magnificently playing that piano, it's going to tell us a story, or then we have some words that go with it. And whatever those words are, we get that across to you, and most times we will decide as cabaret artists to have a theme. And then you get to go, ooh, what is that going to be about? And you can pull it from all these different arenas of music. And so it's like going to a buffet, starving. And getting to have whatever it is you want to have, no matter what, and leaving very full.
That's a pretty fantastic metaphor. Do you guys have anything to add that you'd like to put in? Maybe something that you notice about Gingers that really is a great, strong element.
Well, I think one thing that happens uniquely in cabaret is that there is a goal for the audience to feel like they can come to you and that the artist is going to the audience. It's a more intimate performance and connected in a personal way, so that when the audience leaves, they will feel like they know that artist a little bit better. That's something that I think is important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And just to expound on that, so all of that is exactly what I agree with. I'm trying to look natural while I'm leaning in and trying to just, anyway.
Pick up your mic, Robert. It's totally fine.
Thank you, honey. So, To me, I'm trying to find the right words. It is like I'm hosting a party. I don't know but I don't know who's coming. I mean, everybody's been invited. I just kind of take it and just know that the right people, the ones who want to be there, are going to be the ones who are going to be there, and they're ready to take part in something. It is a conversation that we have back and forth. And my goal in my shows is always to start off with a hello, and by the end of it, I hope to embrace all of you, and I will feel that from you as well, to let down your guard and remind you that you're human and that we all are in this thing together. And that is what art is to me, and that is what this intimacy of Cabaret is all about. You can't lie up here. You cannot lie. And when the connection happens, it's the most terrifying and magical, amazing thing ever.
Wow, those are some wonderful, wonderful insights. And one of the things that's great is that Cabaret is really kind of getting an upswing. And we have a phenomenal organization right here in Nashville that has put their resources behind it. So Lori, can you tell us about what Cabaret looks like at the Nashville Jazz Workshop? And what does Cabaret have to do with jazz?
Well, first of all, we have a fantastic program that we started a few years ago. And not only we're doing performances at the workshop, we have a series called Cabaret at the Workshop, but through that spawned classes. And so now Carolyn German has put together a curriculum, and we're teaching cabaret classes, musical theater classes. She teaches comedy for the musical artist. So it kind of came from knowing the Great American Songbook. And if most of you know George Gershwin, Cole Porter, they all did wonderful shows, and a lot of this music can come from that. Just like Ginger said, it doesn't have to be from the Great American Songbook. It can be a buffet of wonderful varieties of styles. But it has really kind of come from the Great American Songbook, a lot of it has. And so I'm really excited about having this program, and it's picking up steam. We would love for you all to come and check it out if you want to take a class or at least come and see a show. Ginger's got one coming up in November. It's fantastic, and it's great. I'm glad we're doing this. It's a big, big thing that we're doing this.
Well, can you talk a little bit more about the Great American Songbook? And you guys jump in a little bit, because I do think that is something that gets connected very definitely with jazz. But also, is it growing? Is it just a set thing that was sort of mid-20th century, or can we start adding some new tunes? I mean, what do people think about that?
I would love to react to that. May I? May I react to that?
Yes, you may.
With one word. Hamilton. Yeah, see,
We think a lot about Hamilton here at TPAC and when it's coming.
Okay, all right. So, any great show that's happening right now on Broadway is standing on some pretty big shoulders. And those shoulders were established by the Great American Songbook, by those fantastic composers and arrangers and lyricists. Yeah, you're right. And lyricists. Oh, thank you. That was being painful. So, I look at it that way, is that we are the conduits for this music that has gone before. And we get to just further it and keep it going, always paying homage, always, to the shoulders on which we're standing, to the ground that is sacred, to what is holy about the experience of art and music, and that is that it has been around a very, very, very long time. And we get to have the great gift of moving it forward, however that looks, whatever that looks like. So yes, thank you, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
That's awesome. Well, and Cabaret is not just in America. I mean, it's all over the world. And specifically, like, what does it look like in other places? Robert, you came from Chicago several years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, born and raised in Georgia, and then I spent 8 years here at Opryland, and Tennessee rep on this stage in Avita with Ginger. And then I went to Chicago. I was always afraid of New York, and it was a great move. Chicago was really awesome. I went there to do theater, musical theater, but I had the fortunate chance to go and sing at a club with our dear friend Tim Hubler on the island of Mykonos, Greece. That's where I started. So, but it was very laid back. And over there, the songs, because at that time, Les Mis was everything. Les Mis was Hamilton. And in this, you did not sing anything from Les Mis in this country by that point because it had been done. No one wanted to hear Bring Him Home or anything like that. But in Mykonos, it was such a European vacation spot, so people from all over Europe would come. And they would spend about 4 weeks because they get that kind of vacation in their countries. Anyway, so I got to know them a lot, and they relished those things. They were not tired of them, and because they were American song. Well, Les Mis wasn't necessarily American, but that kind of genre, the things that I could not sing here, I always thought I was out of time, out of my time period in life, and so I was always singing the old stuff. But the European sense of it all is they want the drama. Don't lie to them. This most remarkable thing, and actually it changed the trajectory of my whole career, as having this Frenchman come up, not speaking any English, but he looked at me and went, "Oh," and I thought, "What?" But it was like we didn't even speak the same language, but he knew. He got it. He felt something. I made him aware he was alive and we had a connection. And that's when I said to myself, okay, I got something here.
And it seems like it freed you up in a way that you
and
you
so
weren't
then
even
so then after that was over with and I went back to Chicago. I didn't perform for a year because I was working on learning what this cabaret thing was and trying to find a pianist and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But there were open mics that I could go to and figure it out.
So a lot of chances for you to
Yeah.
kind of start up a cabaret thing.
I mean, it's like, we have classes, but, classes in this kind of thing, it's such an odd thing because you learn as you do. It's like
Yes.
stand-up, but with music, but not. It's you only learn by doing it and really
You see
humiliating
why people
yourself
can
a
be
whole lot.
There's no
confused.
terror whatsoever. None.
Well,
shut up.
and that is something that's terrific about the Nashville Jazz Workshop because it is really based on an apprentice model so that you're working with professional musicians. Carolyn, could you guys give us a little quick thing of, how do you start teaching? Since you're starting to create this cabaret program, how do you teach somebody to do it?
For me, one of the most interesting things is to build in a vocalist the permission to do something the way they want to do it or the way that it speaks to them. That is critical. And when the cabaret repertoire class is composed of weekly assignments that tell vocalists to go to a certain genre and find a piece of music. And many times people are like, what? Why do I need to? Just trust me, just go. The idea of exploring what else is out there is critical. And I think if we've got a moment, I just would like to add on the historical aspect. What we think of as the Great American Songbook is certainly not the start of cabaret, which, Weimar Republic, let's go backwards. But it's important, I think, that there was a time when there was less music available to people. And there were very specific channels. And then the radio happens, and then phonographs are everywhere. And so the way in which people got music and experienced music was different. Supper clubs are pretty much gone. So those elements that were once in place are those confines and the venues are different. So now, I think there is a broader vocabulary that we can pull from and feel just as contemporary and connected as people in the 30s did, because they were singing some Gershwin and some Porter and some, somebody else. So
That is a fantastic, really wonderful point, that we do have so much more access to music than people have had in the past. And I'm going to make a little segue here and say, speaking of access to music and new music, we're going to introduce our next singer. And I was going to give you a break before you talked, but it is actually Carolyn. And so Carolyn and Lori are going to give us a little bit of a performance here. So enjoy.
autumn in New York, why does it seem so inviting? Autumn in New York, hold up. You know what, it actually doesn't do too much for me. The thing is, autumn, New York is great, but if I want a vacation, I'm probably wanting a vacation from stress. And New York in 1934, when that song was written, was a little different than New York now. So I think if I'm going to take a little vacation, a getaway with my sweetie, I'm going to pick the beach. Right? It's so much better. And, we tend to not have enough time to connect with our partners. So if you can get out there on the beach, right, side by side with your sweetie, yeah, you just throw some lemonades in a cooler and you take them out there with your chairs and you sit and take in the sun and the sand and the sea. Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking, and when she passes, each one she passes says, "That witch." When she sways, it's like a samba, sways so cool and swings so gentle. And when she passes, each guy she passes. Oh, hon, could you wipe the drool? Because you're like, oh, but I want her so badly. Cause I know how you think. You're like, how can I tell her I love her? How about over my dead body? Yes, you would give your heart gladly, as if. But each time that she walks to the sea, she looks straight ahead. So does he. Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes swimming right into that big school of jellyfish and lemonade, dear? Thank you so much. I am not native Nashvilleian. Who is these days? There's probably only a couple of you. But I moved here a while back and had the great pleasure of working with amazing people, such as these folks here, and connecting with the fabulous Lori Meacham. And Lori and I have been doing some co-writing. And Lori is not from Nashville either, are you? No. So we decided that we should write a song about culture shock. crazy notion to travel down south, see what this rage of southern cooking's all about. The sign said serving lunch, I slipped into a booth. I'm gonna figure out if all the hype is the truth. The waitress with the menu says everything looks fine, but the busboy's mother sick, so there is no pecan pie. I said, I'm thinking veggie plate or meatloaf, I don't know. She said, just remember that either way you go, it comes with a biscuit. It comes with a biscuit. There's pepper in the mashed potatoes, and if you want fried green tomatoes, it comes with a biscuit. Yep, yep. It comes with a biscuit. Jello is a vegetable, but all you really need to know, from turnip greens to brisket, it comes, yep, with a biscuit. My meal was so delicious, so I thought to myself, this town is good at food, but how about something else? I strolled around and came into this joint with such a vibe. I spent $5 cover just to see what was inside. They sat me at a table close up to the band. The air became electric like you wouldn't understand. I was clapping and a snapping, just surviving in the sounds. The only way to tell you about the sweet jam going down, it comes with a biscuit. It comes with a biscuit. I hear they make it up from scratch. Piano player plays it like a flake, and you can be sure that the rhythm's surely baked. It comes with a biscuit. It comes with a biscuit. The bass will hold the rounded tone for sopping up that saxophone. They pop a note and twist it. It comes with a biscuit. Without warning, then I spy a cutie trying to catch my eye, looking like the perfect dream. And all that I could do was scream, do you come with a biscuit? What sides you got? Do you come with a biscuit? I'm feeling served up hot, warm and steamy like an oven. I can tell you that my loving comes with a biscuit. Never tough, it comes with a biscuit. One is not enough. You just wink that little eye, we could have the perfect rise. The flirting lesson I have learned, you sit too long, your bottom burns. Go ahead, grease up the pan, turn the heat up, that's the plan. The night is cooking and I'm risking that it comes with a biscuit. Order up. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, I think I want to put that one in the Great American Songbook. What about you guys? Yeah? Call them up, put it in. That's fantastic. Let me just compose myself here. Thank you so much, Carolyn.
You like some mustard?
It's good on a biscuit.
No, only butter and honey. Thank you so much. So, Lori, I'm so interested because definitely that has some connections to jazz. I mean, are you finding it different writing for jazz, because I know you've written a lot of original tunes for jazz, versus cabaret? I'm going to move back so you guys...
No, not really, because actually, when I write with people, I let them just go and I follow, and that's how we kind of started a little groove. We started that little bass line, boo, boo, doo, boo, boo, doo, boo, and then she just went and I followed her. You know, so it just kind of came out. A lot of times that's how I like to work with composers, is let them sing a melody and then I'm just following. And then magic happens, so.
Well, and it seems like to me that Nashville is actually, in one way, a perfect place for cabaret, per your definition, Ginger, because we have a lot of fluidity between musical styles. And we have a lot of musicians and singers who work in several different genres. I mean, would you say that that's true? I mean, we've seen already a lot of different things from just two of you, and we still have Robert to go. Do you feel like that gives us a little extra power in Nashville?
I do.
Or I'll ask
We're
another
such
question.
good actors because we're all, and then improv. Okay, go.
'Cause we all
Somebody's got
have
to go.
something to say, I know.
So I think there is a beautiful interweaving of styles and trust between musicians, and that's all musicians, vocal musicians, and instrumentalists. There's a trust that happens and a necessity as well to be diversified in what you can handle musically. I think as a town, you are here at TPAC and we love that, and you're probably musical theater people, but I think right now we are challenged as far as musical theater audiences and getting the word out about musical theater. We just lost our reviewer for the Tennessean. So that is a musical art form that's not as prominent in the scene, the music scene of Nashville. And so that's a challenge to get that connection out there to people and to help people know what it is to play musical theater style things. And that's where that beautiful connection comes between jazz or any other genre and cabaret. It's layering in that musical theater element that allows me to insert monologues inside of songs and do parodies and things like that.
Let me tag onto that and say Nashville is known as Music City. We all know that. And the traveling that I've done over the years, people used to say to me, "Oh, do you sing country?" And I would look at them and go, "Yes, I do." And then I wouldn't necessarily be incorporating that into my show just because I wanted them to think that I was, and then to hear some other things. Now I actually do sing more country things, but I do it with different spin to it, different flavorings to it, because again, I think we can all, put mustard on your sandwich or mayonnaise. It just depends, It doesn't change the fact that it's a sandwich, but it's how you flavor it. And I think that that's what's going to help Nashville to become an even bigger music scene, is by welcoming these different ways to see the music, to hear the music, to feel the music, and it just makes us all better. All of us.
Well, and that also applies to, Robert, could you speak a little bit about how important the collaboration is between musician and singer in this kind of work, whether it's, a single piano player or a band?
Well, I've been really fortunate in that I've always been able somehow to work with the most amazing pianists, and I'm not just saying this because you're here, but she's my current collaborator with a lot of things in a long line of, which actually did start here with Stan Tucker back in the Tennessee Rep days in the 80s at Opryland. As well, and then Tim Hubler took me to Mykonos, so I got to do that, and these are all people who, there's something deeper in them that needs to be a part of this thing that we do, and it's not about being right, it's about being truthful. And so I've always been able to work with musicians that way. And in Chicago, when I first got there, I said I spent a year trying to find a pianist and all that sort of thing, and I didn't find one. I went to the guy that a lot of people went to, and and ended up just staying with him for a year. Granted, the thing about Cabaret too is that it's a lonely business. I produce it. I produce my shows. You produce your shows. So if anyone's getting paid, it's everybody. But that's not why I'm doing it either. So, but in Chicago, this one woman who everybody adored, Becky Minzy, wanted to work with me as well, and it was life-changing for me as well. And then I come back down here because I just needed a kinder place to be, and everybody kept saying, you need to meet Lori, you need to meet Lori, you need to meet Lori. Well, fate intervened, and I'm waiting on her at Josephine. I've worked there too. So I'm waiting on her, and we're like going, oh my God. And so I didn't need a rock to fall on my head. I got my sign, And anyway, so I've been very blessed. It's like any relationship that you care. It's like anything. It's like best friends. It's like romance. It's all of that stuff. And it just comes together. And the thing that happens is that we come together and we learn stuff, and then in the moment of, we just surrender and let it go and let it be now and truthful and authentic.
So creating this performance is really deeply personal, it sounds like.
Very.
I mean, maybe Ginger and Carolyn, you guys could talk some more about how you do create a performance, because I'll just tell you very briefly, Carolyn just did a cabaret called Unsolicited Advice. Yeah, that made me think. I could hardly wait to see what she came up with. And Ginger has done one about, and that was all songs that men sing, as she told us. That was really enjoyable. But like, when you start, what are some of the things you all do when you're going to create one?
Well, for me, there's so much music. We all have so much music in our libraries, our personal libraries, that it's all in there and it swirls and swirls. So I have to sort of decide my theme, what the theme is going to be. And then it starts to filter. Then it starts to kind of go, oh, well, I could do that. And then I can do that. And and let me do that. Which then becomes this delicious process of, as you're putting things together, and as you're singing something, you'll go, oh my God, and that will spin into this, and then that will spin into that, and the next thing you know, you have a show that's 7 hours long. That you have to then start pulling your children out and going, I love you, but you can't be in this one.
That's a big buffet, Ginger.
Yeah,
That's
it's a big
musical
buffet. I know, see? So, like the show that I have coming up, another little plug, is called Perspective. And that's what I love about what we do, is that you can take something and it's all in perspective. Life is all about perspective. But the way you sing something or the way you deliver something can give us all a new way of going, didn't see that coming. Or just, let us all leave with maybe a new insight to something. And that, for me, is the great gift and the great joy of creating these songs, these shows that you get to go, okay, here's the journey we're going on this time.
Yeah. And I will say for myself, very similar process and very similar challenges. The last show that we did, though, I knew a few of the pieces that I felt like I wanted to do because it was time for them to come out, but I didn't have the title yet. So I worked it a different way. But it is a challenge to let go of pieces. There were 3 or 4 pieces that I rehearsed and that I loved, and I loved. The bass player was doing these amazing things, and I was like, it's got to go. So it's a hard decision, but the fact that we're making that decision is a reminder of how curated cabaret, a good cabaret show, is going to be. Nothing is there that is not on purpose. And so if you are left unenthused by a cabaret show, it probably wasn't really a crafted cabaret show. It was probably somebody flipping through the Gershwin book, right? And then they didn't really commit to any of the music, and it could sound great, but it's a different kind of experience than a cabaret that says, I'm going to take you on this journey, we're going to laugh about this, and had we had more time, I would have got you laughing, and then we would have done something that's really tender and sweet and poignant. I also tend to, because I write as well, I tend to get the theme and then write an opening number so that I feel like I've got exactly what I want to set up for that event.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And you can see it's a lot more work than you might have thought. And especially think about all of that as they're culling down songs for maybe an hour and a half show. Think about trying to cull it down for our little mini cabaret bites for today. It was not easy, but now we're going to hear one more with Robert Wharton. And Robert and Lori are going to go back to our little performance space over there. So enjoy.
One thing I want to make sure that it's very clear. I think I'm a child of the 60s and 70s and the 80s as a young adult. I have a love-hate relationship with them. Well, I have a love-hate relationship with a lot of things, but the 70s, I think, really kind of killed cabaret. Because the joke was about a lounge lizard and, hey, how you doing? But, how's your drink? And, all that kind of stuff. And so people weren't authentic. It was all an act, and it was schmoozy and gross. And so cabaret took a nosedive. Yeah, oh, that's good. Yeah, just everywhere. So anyway, I love that it's coming back. In Chicago, there's a big group, because like I said before, it's a lonely business. It's a big group, and we support each other, and when we can, we go to people's shows, because we understand, there's something bigger that's guided us to do this in the first place, because like Julie Wilson said, you don't do this for the money. Anyway, so this time of year, I'll get to my point. So it's almost, October, and it's like the middle of September, and I have a problem with the fall. Fall and spring, they are transition months, I feel. Spring, though, we're getting out of the cold, and we get to look forward to summer, and I love it hot. It's one thing I missed in Chicago was a hot, well, no, it got hot, 2 days, but anyway, it got really, I wanted hot. And this time of year, letting go of summer is one of the hardest things I do, and it's always been that way for me. I think letting go for us as humans is something that we just can't. It's difficult for us to let go, and the thing is, you can't get to the next thing if you don't let go of the other thing. So here we are in the fall, and I'm starting to get more excited about things, but there's always this underlying thing about it, and so I wonder. And when October goes, the snow begins to fly above the smoky roofs. I watch the planes go by, the children running home beneath a twilight sky. Oh, for the fun of them, when I was one of them. And when October goes, the same old dream appears, and you are in my arms to share the happy years. I turn my head away to hide the helpless tears. Oh, how I hate to see October go. tears. Oh, how I hate to see October go. I should be over it now, I know. It doesn't matter much how old I grow. I hate to see October go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, anyway, thanks so much. I love Cabaret, and I talk too much because I love it so much, and I want you to love it. So just keep your eye open for it. This next song, and it's the last song, is from a show that I did a tribute to Tony Bennett, because when no one knows your name, you have to pick somebody who they do know so they'll come and see you, right? Also, he's someone I love and adore, and this is from, he sang this song with the Count Basie Orchestra. Hit it. Thank you all so much for coming out. It means the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Woohoo! Are you having any fun? What you getting out of living? What good is what you've got if you're not having any fun? Are you having any laughs? What you getting out of living? If other people do, so can you. So have a little fun. After the honey's in the comb, little bees go out and play. You know the old gray mare back home has gotta have hay. Hey, better have a little fun. You ain't gonna live forever, I know. If before you're old and gray, it's still okay. Have a little fun, son. Have a little fun. Laurie Meacham. Life is full of ifs and buts. You know the squirrels, they save and save. And what have they got? Yeah, they got nuts. Better have a little fun. We ain't gonna live forever. Before we're old and gray, too late, still okay. Have your little fun, hon. Have a little fun. Fun. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for coming. I just want to tell you two more quick things. Ginger's Cabaret is November 17th. Look it up on NashvilleJazz.org. They've also got a lot of other phenomenal musical events. It'll be in the Jazz Cave at the Nashville Jazz Workshop in Germantown. And also, coming up, the Jazz Party of the Year, which is Jazz Mania. And that is the big fundraiser for Nashville Jazz Workshop. That's October 20th on Saturday at the Factory in Franklin, and it is going to be a huge blowout. So please look on the website, get some tickets, come. And if you all will, let's give one more hand to these phenomenal performers. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.